covering the stories that impact your life, your town, your state, and your future. This is the Means Report with your host, Brad Means.
Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to the Means Report. We certainly appreciate you spending part of your day with us, where today we have a power-packed 22 minutes or so as we catch up on all the goings-on in the state of Georgia, in our nation, and really around the world. The hot topics will be covered today as we check in once again with Congressman Rick Allen. He is always kind to stop by the Means Report when he's in the district. And we'll wrap up this broadcast by showing you ways that you can stay in touch and help us get more great guests, like our 12th District Congressman Rick Allen. Congressman, thanks so much for coming back. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Brad. It's good to be with you.
All right, so August, I know, is a busy time for you. It's your, I think it's called your work period.
District work period,
District work period. Mm-hmm. How's that gone as you go meet the voters?
Yeah, we're very busy. Yeah. A lot of requests. We covered from top to bottom and east to west, the district. Put a lot of miles on the car.
I bet.
On the Tahoe, but it's been good. Obviously, a lot of folks are trying to understand the big new beautiful bill. So we had opportunities to clarify things that people read and that sort of thing. One of the highlights was we went down to Plant McIntosh, which is a Georgia Power facility in near Savannah or north of Savannah, but that's quite it's a natural gas facility, and people don't realize.
I had never heard of McIntosh.
Yeah, it's there and it's humming, and so of course you about the two new plant 3 and 4. McIntosh is in Effingham County, which I have the northern part of Effingham County.
Listen, Georgia Power has dominated my summer because it's been so incredibly hot in the 12th district, and so we've been running the AC nonstop. Right. You mentioned that everyone has concerns, and we will get to the big, beautiful law.
Yeah, and I've been meeting with farmers, educators, local chambers, just to get an idea of exactly, and I'll tell you, the 12th district, from an economic development standpoint, is really doing well.
What do they say to you?
A lot of opportunities.
What are people's most common concerns or questions?
Workforce.
Like I want make it easier for me to get a job, that kind of thing?
No.
Or we don't have enough workers?
We don't have the workers.
Yeah.
We need workforce. So we've got some work to do on that.
How do you do that? You have a heavy hand in education. Are we turning out good workers?
Well, from the domestic side, for example, if you're on Medicaid and you're work capable, you have to go to work and work 20 hours a week. If you're on supplemental nutrition, which a lot of the moms ask me, why can I go to work? They were prohibited, they'd lose their benefits. Well, now they can go to work. Mm-hmm. And so there are going to be some folks introduced into the workforce that have either refused to work or they got to keep those benefits. They've got to go to work. There's I don't know the total number. There's 45 million on supplemental nutrition, so you say there's probably at least 10 million workers out there, and we got 7 million open jobs in this country. So
why is this being spun then as, I hear what you're saying, but if I look at the headlines, I might see people who are fearful that their benefits are just randomly being taken away from them. Not only SNAP, but medical coverage. Is that what's happening from your point of view?
No, the only way you're going to lose like your Medicaid is if you don't fulfill, if you're work capable age 18 to 57 and not have small children, and the only way you're going to lose Medicaid is if you refuse to go to work.
How do you determine if someone's work capable?
There's criteria. Yeah. Like I said, ages 18 to 57, and obviously, if you're disabled, there are opt-outs. But if you're able-bodied, basically, you're going to have to go to work, keep your Medicaid.
Listen, I know we could spend the whole show on this, but if I'm in good with my doctor, can't he or she write a note that keeps my benefits coming without me having to go to work?
Yeah.
That could happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll have to see how it plays out. And again, I know, folks, we could spend the entire broadcast talking about
I will
this.
say this, where we've had these waivers in the past, they've been hugely successful. People have gone to work, moved up the food chain so fast that within 2 years, they're off of all government programs. And I tell you, that's a freedom that once you get there, and we've got examples here, and I'll tell you about those after the show, but that you ought to have on talking about how they work their way out of that generational welfare. And it is amazing, the freedom and the, just, to give folks the opportunity to have, we were created to work. And so you got to fill that void.
That pandemic, though, man, it really made us not want to work.
It did a number on the country.
Or at least not come to an office.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just work remotely.
Yeah.
What about, I like that you mentioned the economy in the 12th district. Why are you so big on it? Why do you think that this is kind of a thriving part of our nation?
Well, obviously, technology, cyber center back.
Still huge.
Yeah, and growing. And we're getting a lot of partnerships between business and DOD, dealing with the cyber threat is not going away, it's growing. And so this is just going to, it's going to get more sophisticated. And frankly, it's the way we're fighting that's war fighting now.
I always ask you to kind of pull back the curtain and show us what goes on behind the scenes. And I know when it comes to national security, you can't tell a lot. But do you sometimes hear some things about how our enemies are attacking our cyber systems or trying to attack our cyber systems that kind of not scare you, but that kind of get your attention? Is it just almost a daily thing to try to keep up with the bad guys?
Yeah.
The hackers?
Yeah, there are millions of hits every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do we keep up with that? Does that go back to workforce and trying to get smart people out there to fight them?
That's the part I can't comment on.
Yeah. Well, do you feel comfortable? Are we safe?
Hey, I've seen it. It's amazing what our soldiers are doing in that arena, and also helping businesses do the same thing.
And a lot of that is right here at home, correct? Yeah, Fort Eisenhower, and just not only in the military sector, but the private sector, cyber is very big.
Exactly. You have to have it,
This big, beautiful act has a lot of tax changes in it, and it's difficult for me to understand. It's difficult for the layperson to keep up with. What's your advice? How do we know what we're entitled to come tax time?
Well, had this bill not passed, Georgia would pay 24% more income tax. 24% income tax.
Does everybody get hooked up, or is it just the rich?
No, it's everybody.
There's a benefit for all.
Oh yeah. Mainly, in the small business community, it was going to increase drastically. That's number one. Number two, if this bill had not passed, all the economists were predicting a very deep recession and a huge loss of jobs. What this does, it's twofold. One, obviously the big change is no tax on tips. $6,000 reduction in taxes on Social Security, and so that was the big piece of the change. And once you implement this bill, then we're doing CRAs and to reduce regulation. The big new beautiful bill has opened up energy production. No more war on energy. Full bore everything. We're in a race in energy with China, and we have to win that race if we're going to win the AI race and we're going to win the 6G race. So it's a national security issue, but this is going to allow this economy to do what it was designed to do. Now, it's hard to believe 6 years ago we had the best economy in our lifetime. And what we want is to have that opportunity to do that again, and even in a bigger way, because the other thing too is for every 1% we grow GDP, we reduce the deficit by $1 trillion.
Does AI scare you? You know, you talk about keeping up with the bad guys when it comes to cyber attacks. How do we differentiate between AI and reality? It's tough to even look at your phone and know what's real these days.
Well, it's a lot of information.
Yeah.
In fact, AI is basically all the information that's ever been out there is in these big computers now. So you ask it a question, you're going to get an answer.
Mm-hmm.
But you probably ought to check, you know.
And it does advise you to check.
Yeah.
You know, but someone can steal your voice.
Right.
And make a call to someone to say, hey, this is Rick Allen. I'm in trouble. Email some ransom or, Venmo some ransom money.
And that's why it needs to be federally controlled, which was a big debate about, okay, what's the role of the states in AI versus the federal government. But it is such a national security issue. It again needs to be under the Department of Defense and the guidance from the federal government.
We are talking to Georgia Congressman Rick Allen, kind enough to stop by as he wraps up his August work period in District 12. More questions about state, local, and national issues when we come back on the Means Report. Welcome back to the Means Report. Georgia Congressman Rick Allen, sixth term now, right, Congressman Allen? Sixth term in office on the Hill, representing this part of the Peach State. All right, so you were talking about the big, beautiful bill and all of the things that it entails. Tell me this, and I love hearing stories like this. When President Trump is trying to drum up support for an agenda like this, how does he do that? Does he show up at your office? Does he call people and say, come to the Oval Office and I'll try to persuade you? What's that like? Because he did have to work hard to get support. Yeah,
and he was basically on the phone the entire night. We passed this thing very early that morning.
Yeah, I remember
that.
And
so he was on the phone that night, and again, just talking to people about if we don't get this done, these are the repercussions. This is like the other thing that what it amounts to. These are things he talked about in his campaign, and I'm going to tell you, he is adamant about promises made, promises kept. And, of course, then you've got to codify it into legislation and pass it into law. And that's, you gotta be a little flexible, that sort of thing. But like I said, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. He constantly talked about that in Social Security on the campaign trail.
On the campaign trail, almost every speech.
Yeah, and so he talked about energy. Returning to energy dominance, which is, again, a national security issue. It is a huge economic issue. It is probably the biggest reason that we've been able to reduce inflation. And, eggs have come down 20%. Things like that. And, of course, he's a business guy. He understands how to do these things. And, but he's also very persuasive. And
does he sometimes have to say, listen, if you'll vote for this, I will, I'll help a company come to your district. Not you necessarily, but does he say, what do you need back home? I can help.
Yeah, he's obviously helpful. He's the reason I'm still there.
Yeah.
He calls me, he says, hey, you have my full endorsement. You got to hang with us. We got a lot to do. And of course, I was in construction. He loves construction, obviously. He loves to get in the middle of it. He's walking the new headquarters for the Fed with the Fed chairman, and so he loves that sort of thing. And of course, he loves golf. And of course, Augusta. He knows Augusta, and very fond of Augusta. So we have a lot in common. And of course, we both come from the business world. Neither one of us went up the ladder, the political ladder. We had a career.
Right, y'all are outsiders.
Yeah, we had a career and said we're going to go to Washington and we're going to try to change the way this country is doing business because we cannot survive. We could not survive on the path we were on.
Congressman, do we need National Guard troops in our city streets to maintain law and order?
The big question is what is going on in Washington, D.C.? That's a federal district. In fact, we've had to overrule the city council up there on a couple of things. I mean, they wanted to make car theft a misdemeanor, armed car theft a misdemeanor. So we had to come in and Congress has that authority. The president has the authority to make that district. Our founders intended for that district to be a safe, secure place, not a state, that you can go meet with your members of Congress and feel safe and talk about your needs and the needs of the country.
Would you like to see those troops in other cities?
We got to do something about crime. I think he's setting the example in Washington, and I think these mayors of these, and you've heard the mayor of D.C. say, now that I look at this, wow, one murder in 2 weeks, and she said, this is unbelievable. I mean, this is unbelievable.
I mean, if you went to New York tomorrow,
Uh-huh.
or Chicago or Los Angeles, would you be comfortable seeing, a bunch of camouflage clad soldiers walking down the street?
Well, I can tell you this, I would not let my wife walk alone on those streets. But I can guarantee you when she gets back to Washington, she's very excited that she can go to the mall, she can go see the soldiers, she makes some cookies, they blend right in, to be honest with you.
Your wife is a dear lady.
Oh yeah,
and I mean she is.
She's looking forward to getting back, and obviously being able to go and do the way you should be able to go and do on any city, any street in America. But when you look at the crime in this country, well, like I said, if you compared Washington, D.C. with any other capital in the world, it was awful.
I tell you, I went to Rome, Italy one time, and the one image I remember is all these soldiers at the airport. You get off the plane and there's a bunch of soldiers guarding things.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, and I know that we could do hours and hours together on the big issues.
Yeah.
When is the United States going to be able to stop Russia and Ukraine from fighting, or can we?
We were close.
It felt like we were close.
Yeah, and for whatever reason, and I don't know if it's someone advising Putin when he gets back there, but basically he just ignored all of the progress that we'd made, and unfortunately, the Russian people are going to suffer greatly because we're fixing to put sanctions on that country that's going to hurt them economically, and already their economy is not good. Their Russian economy is not as big as the Texas economy. Okay. Mm-hmm. And of course, they spend 10% of their their GDP on military. We're below 4%. So
you don't sound optimistic that this war is going to end anytime soon.
Let me tell you, the kind of sanctions we're putting on them, it's going to create some problems for leadership in Russia. And that's the same thing that happened under the Reagan administration. We didn't fire a shot, but their economy tumbled. And you hate to see that because you don't want that on the people, but if their leadership is going to continue to do this, you have to put the sanctions on. You basically destroy their economy, and they have to have money to fight wars. That's why we took out Iran, because Iran funds all the terrorist organizations. So we had to stop that.
Let me do this, and I'm so mad at myself. I almost skipped this. We solicited viewer questions, and I think we have enough time to hit 2 of them. And thank y'all for writing in and submitting your questions. I want to get to that so we don't run out of time. And Jarrett, you keep me honest on time. One viewer asked, my husband and I are both retired Army. Our son is on active duty. We are distressed to see the National Guard and other troops being deployed to American cities due to high crime. What justification is there for the blue states being targeted when of the 30 states ranked high in crime, 20 are red states, but no troops there? Can you answer that in 30, 45 seconds? Why don't y'all go to Republican cities or states?
Yeah, our governor has said that he will deploy National Guard troops as far as dealing with illegal immigration and crime. It's up to the governor. Of course, we have the Georgia National Guard, we have the South Carolina National Guard, and the others. But here's the problem. Are you going to do something about crime or are you not?
Thank you to Dr.
Yeah.
Karen Wish, Lieutenant Colonel retired, for that question. Thank you for your service. How about this one? What about a new federal interstate highway, Congressman, that would go from I-16 down in Savannah through Augusta and end up near Anderson, South Carolina in the I-85 area? Is it possible to do that? And could it be something in the next 10, 20 years, have that kind of highway?
Yeah, I mean, we've got, the state put in the Fall Line Freeway, okay? And the state has all the way to Washington, Georgia. You go I-20, Thompson, and then Washington, you're 4-lane all the way.
That's right.
Almost, it's not interstate, but it is. All you got to do is go from Washington to I-80, right up the river, I-85, and the state could do it, just follow that, take that 2-lane road and just widen it.
Yeah.
That's the most reasonable way to do it, and I think would satisfy the needs there. But yeah, our port's number 3 in the world, in the country now, and a lot of stuff needs to go straight up. Right now they're having to go 16 and up 75. And of course, the traffic issues in Atlanta. All interstates lead to Atlanta.
It's unreal.
Yeah.
It truly is unreal. Although I will say this, I was in Atlanta last week and I did find that there are ways to take those surface streets and not get on 75 or 85 and still make your way around that town. Probably
but the state has been dealing with, like I said, getting across the state and getting north to south, obviously from Savannah.
Last question, how can we help you? How can people in the 12th District help make your job easier in DC?
Well, obviously, we got an election coming up in a little over a year, and we had great turnout. This is the midterm. People need to be as excited about the midterm as they were the presidential race. But we do know that the percentages drop. But we need folks to vote. We need you to exercise your right to vote. Georgia is increasing vote count constantly. Every election we have, of course the state's growing, but please exercise your right to vote. And then the other thing I'll leave you with is we have the best constituent service team in the country. And if you're having problems with a federal agency, please give our office a call and we'll be glad to help you with it.
Congressman Rick Allen, thank you for your service. Thanks for being here today.
Yes, sir.
When we come back, how you can help us get more great guests like Congressman Rick Allen, we'll show you in a moment.